So my name is Mike. I've been doing photography on and off for about 12 years now. I've been doing a lot of different images the last little while, and I'm kind of excited to show you some of them. So the first image that I'm going to show you guys today was actually on a class field trip. We went to the Lockmaster's house down by the Sioux Locks with one of Brian Tremblay's classes. It was interesting. There was a lot of different things to see. It was a really interesting architecture, a lot of old things in the building, and this spot really caught my eye. It was actually a vent in the room that was covered by, for whatever reason, an old plate. Just the textures in the wallpaper, the decay, it just caught my eye instantly. It was a really high area, so you actually had to stand on a chair to see it straight on like this. But I really wanted to focus on the trail of the actual water and the decay. And I really liked the idea of the texture of the background being included as a primary focus. My favorite type of photography is usually more abstract or more fashion-based. I don't know, you tend to be able to play more and have more fun with it. It's not always so much constricted by what other people are wanting. Usually thinking outside of the box is encouraged more with this. So this next image was actually also on the same field trip. As we were leaving, I saw the way the light was catching the wall on the staircase of the building. So I had to wait until about 20 of us got out of the way and actually took this image. Again, higher vantage point, so I had to kind of stand up. I always seem to have an eye for capturing something not really accessible all the time, but if it captures my eye, I'm almost willing to do anything to get it, and sometimes you really have to do that. The light really emphasized the texture of the wallpaper again, which that draws my eye, and that's why I went with this image so strongly. If you want to try to improve your photography, I think you always need to be trying to improve by challenging yourself. Don't always take the easy way out. Don't always do what everyone else is doing. Appropriate, don't mimic. It's hard to improve yourself if you're copying everybody else. It's one thing to, enjoy someone else's work, but don't completely copy it. Be you, be yourself, and actually do something you enjoy. So the next image was actually a little fun personal project that I had done with my friend Amanda. Had her come into the studio one day, and she looked at me really weird because we actually had one of those small kiddie pools set up and a bunch of powdered milk. We decided to kind of have her look like she was immersing out of just nothingness. So we used the powdered milk to create just a white void that she was coming out of. It was really fun. It was something different. It allowed me to kind of experiment a little. And then later we ended up going into some other stuff as well, which leads into the next image. I've always enjoyed the idea of double exposures. So with this one, since I already had her in the studio and she was wanting to shoot more and more, once she dried off, we decided to actually play a little more with the idea of double exposures. And so I captured just a basic portrait of her. I went out later that day and found some trees that kind of caught my eye as well and blended the two images together. And that's the result that I got out of it. It was really fun. It was different to something I would normally do. I like double exposures, but normally I wouldn't tend to go towards them too much. But sometimes with photography, you should always kind of think outside the box and just, go out of your comfort zone. In the Sioux shooting, the one thing I actually really enjoy is some of the people I've met. They're very open to new ideas, and like I've mentioned, I kind of think out of the box sometimes, so some of my ideas would normally scare the typical person off. Not too many people enjoy having paint thrown on them or sitting in a pool of milk for an hour at a time. So that's one thing, is the people are definitely one thing that makes it more interesting. So staying on with the idea of experimenting, a friend of mine and we went to the fair. She wanted to really get some portraits done at the fair, and with the sunset going down, with all the colors of the fair and everything else going on, it was actually a really fun way to experiment, but the problem is no available light. So we actually had to bring a bunch of flashes. We went through and had some fun. This was actually one of the outtakes for it, but personally it was my favorite one of the whole day. She liked some of the other ones a little better for obvious reasons, but this one was definitely my favorite. Hardest lesson I've ever learned, accepting failure. You're not gonna get everything first try. You're not gonna be the master of everything right off the bat. It takes time. You really have to stay at it and don't give up. It's one of the things I almost gave up on photography years ago just because I didn't see it really going anywhere. And then I had a couple people kind of kick me in the butt and keep me going at it. And I kind of have them to thank for actually still shooting this day. These last two were more recent. I've never thought about the idea of doing wedding photography. I always think of things kind of more portrait-based. The last couple months, I've had a few friends actually ask me to shoot their weddings, but gave me kind of creative control over them. So that resulted in this first image. Chris and Shelby had their wedding, very pink, very girly wedding. So I decided to have fun with it. We went to the dollar store before the wedding, a couple of my friends and we decided to get some pink balloons. By the end of the day, shooting with these balloons, everything was starting to wind down and he started jumping around. So I told him to jump as high as he could, and this was kind of the result that we got out of it. It was really fun. It was really kind of vintage and almost Instagrammy, as some people would say. But I actually liked the way it was, and this is definitely out of my norm. So I rolled with it. I think that photography is a really great creative outlet. If you don't have something like that in your life, it's something that really makes your life a lot better. It's different. It's hard to explain to someone that doesn't actually shoot why someone loves it so much. But when you actually do get into the hobby or get into it seriously, you kind of get it. It's not like anything else out there. A wedding, the first kiss, you can't get that same reaction again. Her walking down the aisle, you can't get his reaction the exact same way the first time he sees her. Or sometimes that reaction that you get from a model when you're doing a photo shoot, you can't always get that same look or that same pose exactly the same once they move. It makes it really hard. The one problem I find with weddings is shooting the same place everyone else has shot. So always trying to find a different angle, a different look for it. We went to Farmer Bob's for the photos and everyone shot there. It's always a hard thing to try to make something unique for a wedding. So we decided to go way in the back behind the chapel and go into the fields more so towards the flowers. I got Trista to sit down on a blanket, kind of hidden by all the plant life, and she was looking over her shoulder. We got Tyler to slowly walk in, and as they got to the right spot, that's when I captured this image. And I absolutely love this image, and they do too, so I'm really happy how it turned out. Okay, so those are my images. I hope you enjoy them. I actually want to kind of get more into some of the other stuff that I've been working on last little while. But if anything, I want to leave you with this. If you are interested in developing your skills or interested in getting into photography, educate yourself on it. Get out there, go through a program, learn, get the experience, develop with others, and get out there, practice.